Welcome to Loops and Loops, your gateway to the fascinating world of brain science. Delving into the mysteries of the human brain science unravels the complexities of cognition, perception, and behavior, offering profound insights into what makes us who we are. Join us as we embark on an enlightening journey through the realm of brain science, exploring its foundational principles, delving into cutting-edge research, and uncovering the secrets of the most complex organ in the human body. Whether you're a neuroscience enthusiast, a curious learner, or simply intrigued by the workings of the mind, you're in for an immersive experience. So tighten your loops, prepare to expand your neural networks, and let's explore the captivating world of brain science together. Neurons are the basic building blocks of the brain and nervous system. They are specialized cells that transmit information through electrical and chemical signals. Neurons play a crucial role in processing and transmitting information within the brain and between the brain and the rest of the body. The structure of the brain is highly organized with different regions responsible for various functions such as cognition, emotion, and sensory processing. The complexity of the brain structure allows it to perform a wide range of tasks, from basic functions like breathing and heart rate to complex processes like problem solving and decision making. Neurotransmitters are chemicals that transmit signals between neurons. They play a vital role in brain communication by allowing neurons to communicate with each other and relay messages throughout the brain and nervous system. Synaptic transmission refers to the process by which neurotransmitters are released from one neuron and received by another across a synapse or gap between them. This process allows for the transmission of information between neurons and is essential for brain function. Glial cells, often referred to as the support cells of the brain, provide structural support to neurons, insulate them, and regulate their environment. They also play roles in neurotransmitter recycling and immune response within the brain. The brain interprets and processes sensory information from the environment through specialized regions responsible for different senses, such as vision, hearing, taste, smell, and touch. The brain is divided into different lobes, each with distinct functions. These include the frontal lobe, responsible for executive functions and decision-making. The parietal lobe, involved in sensory processing and spatial awareness. The temporal lobe, important for memory and auditory processing. And the occipital lobe, responsible for visual processing. Brain lateralization refers to the phenomenon where certain functions are localized to one hemisphere of the brain. For example, language processing is often lateralized to the left hemisphere, while spatial processing may be more dominant in the right hemisphere. Grey matter consists of neuron cell bodies and dendrites, while white matter contains myelinated axons that connect different brain regions. Grey matter is involved in processing and integrating information, while white matter facilitates communication between brain regions. The brain regulates essential functions like breathing and heart rate through specialized regions in the brainstem, such as the medulla oblongata and the pons. The blood-brain barrier is a protective barrier that regulates the passage of substances between the bloodstream and the brain. It helps protect the brain from harmful substances while allowing essential nutrients to enter. The brain generates and controls movement through a complex network of structures, including the motor cortex, basal ganglia, and cerebellum. These regions work together to coordinate voluntary and involuntary movements. The cerebellum plays a crucial role in motor coordination, balance, and posture. It receives input from sensory systems and helps fine-tune movements to ensure smooth and precise motor control. Brain plasticity refers to the brain's ability to adapt and change in response to experience, learning, and injury. It allows for the formation of new neural connections and the reorganization of existing ones, contributing to learning and memory. Hormones, chemical messengers produced by the endocrine system, influence brain function and behavior by regulating various physiological processes, including metabolism, growth, and stress response. Hormones such as cortisol, adrenaline, and estrogen can affect mood, cognition, and behavior. The hypothalamus, a small region located at the base of the brain, acts as a control center for many bodily functions and behaviors. It regulates essential processes like hunger, thirst, body temperature, and sleep-wake cycles. Additionally, the hypothalamus plays a role in hormone production and release, influencing functions such as growth, metabolism, and stress response. Emotions and mood regulation involve complex processes within the brain. Various brain regions, including the amygdala, prefrontal cortex, and hippocampus, work together to process emotional stimuli, form emotional memories, and regulate mood. Neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine play key roles in mood regulation, affecting feelings of happiness, pleasure, and well-being. Sleep is divided into different stages, including non-rapid eye movement and rapid eye movement sleep. During non-rapid eye movement sleep, the brain enters deeper stages of sleep characterized by slow brain waves and reduced muscle activity. Rapid eye movement sleep, on the other hand, is associated with rapid eye movements and vivid dreaming. The brain regulates the sleep-wake cycle through the interaction of various neurotransmitters and hormones, including melatonin and serotonin. Circadian rhythms are natural internal processes that regulate the sleep-wake cycle and other bodily functions over a 24-hour period. These rhythms are influenced by external cues such as light and darkness and help synchronize physiological processes with the day-night cycle. Disruptions to circadian rhythms, such as jet lag or shift work, can affect brain function, mood, and overall health. Stress can have a significant impact on brain function, affecting areas involved in cognition, emotion, and behavior. Chronic stress can lead to changes in brain structure and function, including alterations in neurotransmitter levels and neural circuitry. The brain's stress response system, involving the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and adrenal glands, helps the body respond to stressful situations, but can also contribute to health problems when chronically activated. The brain processes and stores long-term memories through a process called memory consolidation. This involves the transfer of information from short-term to long-term memory storage, which requires the activation of specific brain regions, including the hippocampus and cortex. Memories are encoded through changes in synaptic strength and neuronal connections, leading to the formation of lasting memory traces. Memory can be categorized into different types, including episodic memory, which is memories of specific events, semantic memory, which is general knowledge and facts, and procedural memory skills and habits. Each type of memory is associated with distinct brain regions and neural pathways involved in encoding, storage, and retrieval. Déjà vu is a phenomenon where an individual feels as though they have experienced a current situation before, despite knowing that it is new. The exact cause of déjà vu is not fully understood, but it may result from a temporary disruption in the brain's memory processes, leading to a feeling of familiarity with a novel experience. The hippocampus, a region located in the medial temporal lobe, plays a critical role in spatial navigation and memory formation. It is involved in the formation and retrieval of declarative memories, including episodic and spatial memories. Damage to the hippocampus can result in deficits in memory and spatial orientation. Language processing involves various brain regions, including Broca's area and Wernicke's area, located in the frontal and temporal lobes, respectively. These regions are involved in language comprehension, production, and interpretation. Language processing also relies on neural networks connecting different brain regions involved in auditory and visual processing, as well as memory and semantics. Dyslexia is a learning disorder characterized by difficulties with reading, spelling, and writing despite normal intelligence and adequate education. It is thought to result from differences in how the brain processes language. particularly in areas involved in phonological processing and word recognition. Dyslexia can affect individuals differently and may involve deficits in auditory processing, visual processing, or both. Brain lateralization refers to the specialization of functions in the left and right hemispheres of the brain. In language processing, for example, Broca's area, located in the left hemisphere, is involved in speech production, while Wernicke's area, also in the left hemisphere, is involved in language comprehension. However, both hemispheres contribute to language processing through interconnected neural pathways. The frontal lobe, located at the front of the brain, plays a crucial role in decision-making, impulse control, and social behaviour. It is involved in executive functions such as planning, reasoning, and problem-solving, as well as regulating emotions and inhibiting inappropriate behaviours. Damage to the frontal lobe can lead to deficits in judgment, impulse control, and emotional regulation. Visual information is processed in various regions of the brain, including the primary visual cortex located in the occipital lobe at the back of the brain. Visual processing involves the analysis and interpretation of visual stimuli, such as shapes, colours, and motion. Different aspects of visual information, such as form, colour, and depth, are processed in specialised areas of the visual cortex and other brain regions. The occipital lobe, located at the rear of the brain, is primarily responsible for visual processing. It receives and interprets visual information from the eyes and relays it to other brain regions involved in higher order visual processing, such as object recognition and spatial perception. The occipital lobe is divided into different visual areas, each specialised for different aspects of visual processing, such as motion detection, colour perception, and object recognition. Optical illusions are fascinating examples of how the brain interprets visual information. They occur when our perception of an image or object differs from reality. This happens because the brain processes visual cues and context to make sense of what we see. Sometimes these cues can trick the brain into perceiving something that it isn't there or interpreting an image in a way that differs from reality. Optical illusions highlight the brain's reliance on past experiences, expectations, and context to interpret visual stimuli. Auditory information, such as sounds and speech, is processed and interpreted by various regions of the brain, including the auditory cortex located in the temporal lobes. Sound waves travel through the ear and stimulate hair cells in the cochlea, which then transmit electrical signals to the brain via the auditory nerve. The brain analyzes these signals, distinguishing between different frequencies, volumes, and spatial locations to interpret the sound's meaning and significance. The temporal lobe, located on the sides of the brain, plays a crucial role in auditory processing and language comprehension. It contains the primary auditory cortex, where sound signals are received and analysed. Additionally, higher order regions in the temporal lobe are involved in language processing, including speech comprehension, semantic processing, and auditory memory. Sound localization refers to the brain's ability to determine the spatial location of a sound source in the environment. This process involves comparing differences in the timing and intensity of sound signals received by the two ears. The brain uses these differences, known as interaural time and intensity differences, to accurately localize sounds in space and determine their direction and distance. Tinnitus is a condition characterized by the perception of ringing, buzzing, or other phantom sounds in the ears in the absence of external stimuli. It is believed to result from abnormal neural activity in the auditory pathways of the brain. Potential causes of tinnitus include hearing loss, exposure to loud noise, ear infections, and neurological disorders. The exact mechanisms underlying tinnitus are not fully understood, but may involve changes in neuronal firing patterns and synaptic plasticity in the auditory system. The parietal lobe, located at the top and back of the brain, is involved in sensory integration, spatial awareness, and perception of touch, pressure, and pain. It integrates sensory information from various modalities, including vision, touch, and proprioception, to create a coherent perception of the body and the surrounding environment. Pain perception involves complex neural processes that occur in various regions of the brain, including the somatosensory cortex, thalamus, and limbic system. Pain signals are transmitted from nociceptors, also known as pain receptors in the body, to the brain via the spinal cord. The brain processes these signals, interpreting them as sensations of pain and generating appropriate responses. Chronic pain conditions involve persistent or recurring pain that lasts for extended periods, often beyond the time required for tissue healing. Chronic pain can result from damage or dysfunction in the nervous system, leading to abnormal pain processing and sensitization. Neural mechanisms underlying chronic pain include alterations in pain pathways, neuroinflammation, and changes in brain structure and function. Phantom limb pain refers to the perception of pain or other sensations in a missing limb following amputation. It is thought to result from maladaptive changes in the brain's representation of the missing limb in the somatosensory cortex. Despite the absence of physical input from the missing limb, the brain continues to generate sensations, including pain, tingling, and itching in the perceived location of the amputated limb. Taste and smell sensations are processed by specialized sensory receptors in the mouth and nose, respectively. These receptors detect chemical compounds in food and the environment and transmit signals to the brain via the gustatory and olfactory pathways. The brain analyzes these signals, identifying different tastes and smells and generating appropriate perceptual experiences. Synesthesia is a neurological condition characterized by the blending or mixing of sensory experiences. People with synesthesia may perceive stimuli in one sensory modality. For example, hearing as triggering experiences in another modality, for example, seeing colours. For example, they may associate specific sounds with particular colours or shapes. Synesthesia is believed to result from atypical cross-wiring or hyperconnectivity between brain regions responsible for processing different sensory modalities. Anosmia is the loss or impairment of the sense of smell. It can result from various factors, including nasal congestion, head injuries, viral infections, or neurological conditions. Anosmia may occur temporarily, such as during a cold or sinus infection, or persistently due to underlying medical conditions affecting the olfactory system or brain. The hypothalamus, a small region located at the base of the brain, plays a central role in regulating hunger, satiety, and energy balance. It receives signals from the body regarding hunger and fullness, including hormonal signals such as leptin and ghrelin. The hypothalamus integrates these signals and generates appropriate responses to maintain energy homeostasis, including regulating food intake, metabolism, and energy expenditure. Food addiction is a controversial concept that suggests certain foods or eating behaviours can trigger addictive responses similar to those observed with drugs of abuse. While not officially recognised as a clinical diagnosis, food addiction is thought to involve dysregulation of reward pathways in the brain, particularly those involving neurotransmitters like dopamine. Vectors such as genetics, environment, and psychological factors may contribute to the development of food addiction-like behaviours. The brain is remarkably adept at perceiving and processing social cues and interactions. It relies on various regions, including the prefrontal cortex, temporal lobes, and limbic system, to interpret facial expressions, body language, vocal intonations, and other social signals. These cues help individuals understand others' emotions, intentions, and thoughts, facilitating effective social interactions and communication. The theory of mind refers to the ability to understand and attribute mental states such as beliefs, desires, and intentions to oneself and others. It develops gradually during childhood and is supported by brain regions involved in social cognition, such as the prefrontal cortex and temporoparietal junction. Theory of mind enables individuals to predict and interpret others' behaviour, empathize with their experiences, and engage in complex social interactions. Mirror neurons are specialized brain cells that fire both when an individual performs an action and when they observe someone else performing the same action. They play a crucial role in empathy, social learning, and imitation. Mirror neurons allow individuals to understand and resonate with others' experiences by internally simulating their actions, emotions, and intentions, facilitating social bonding and cooperation. Emotions such as love and attachment involve complex neural processes that occur in various regions of the brain, including the limbic system, prefrontal cortex, and hypothalamus. These regions regulate physiological and behavioral responses associated with social bonding, pair bonding, and caregiving. Neurotransmitters such as oxytocin and dopamine play key roles in mediating feelings of love, attachment, and reward. Oxytocin is a hormone and neurotransmitter known for its role in social bonding, trust, and affiliation. It is released in response to social stimuli such as touch, eye contact, and positive interactions, promoting feelings of connection and attachment. Oxytocin modulates neural circuits involved in social behavior and reward processing, facilitating social bonding and cooperation in humans and other mammals. The brain stress response involves the activation of the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis and the release of stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones prepare the body to respond to perceived threats or challenges, triggering physiological changes such as increased heart rate, elevated blood pressure, and heightened alertness. Chronic stress can dysregulate the stress response system and negatively impact physical and mental health. The amygdala, a small almond-shaped structure located deep within the brain's temporal lobes, plays a central role in processing emotions, particularly fear and threat detection. It receives sensory input from the environment and evaluates potential threats, triggering fear responses and coordinating physiological and behavioral reactions to perceived danger. Dysfunction in the amygdala is implicated in anxiety disorders and phobias. Emotional regulation refers to the ability to modulate and manage one's emotions in response to internal and external stimuli. It involves cognitive processes such as awareness, appraisal, and reappraisal of emotional experiences, as well as adaptive coping strategies to regulate emotional responses. Effective emotional regulation is essential for mental health and well-being, contributing to resilience and adaptive functioning in various life situations. Brain development during infancy and childhood is characterized by rapid growth and refinement of neural circuits, driven by genetic factors and environmental influences such as sensory experiences, caregiving, and social interactions. Key developmental milestones include the formation of synaptic connections, myelination of neural pathways, and the pruning of excess synapses to optimize neural efficiency and connectivity. Critical periods in brain development refer to sensitive periods during which the brain is particularly responsive to specific environmental stimuli and experiences. These periods are crucial for the establishment of fundamental neural circuits and functional networks underlying sensory, motor, and cognitive development. Disruptions or deprivation during critical periods can have lasting effects on brain structure and function, affecting later behavior and cognition. Neurogenesis is the process of generating new neurons from neural stem cells in specific regions of the brain, such as the hippocampus and olfactory bulb. It occurs throughout life but is most active during prenatal development and early childhood. Neurogenesis contributes to brain plasticity, learning, and memory, as well as recovery from injury or degenerative conditions. Brain aging is associated with structural and functional changes, including loss of neurons, synaptic connections, and grey matter volume, as well as alterations in neurotransmitter systems and neural networks. Aging brains are also more susceptible to neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and vascular dementia, which can impair cognitive function and memory. Alzheimer's disease is a progressive neurodegenerative disorder characterized by cognitive decline, memory loss, and changes in behavior and personality. It is associated with the accumulation of abnormal protein aggregates, including beta amyloid plaques and tau tangles in the brain. These pathological changes disrupt neuronal function and communication, leading to cell death and widespread brain damage. Dementia is a syndrome characterized by a decline in cognitive function that interferes with daily activities and social functioning. It can result from various underlying causes, including Alzheimer's disease, vascular dementia, Lewy body dementia, and frontotemporal dementia. Dementia affects multiple cognitive domains, including memory, language, executive function, and visuospatial skills, and is associated with progressive deterioration of brain structure and function. The brain has remarkable plasticity and adaptive capacity, allowing it to reorganize and recover function following injury or trauma. Neuroplasticity refers to the brain's ability to rewire neural circuits, form new connections, and adapt to changes in response to experience, learning, and environmental demands. Rehabilitation strategies such as physical therapy, cognitive therapy, and neurorehabilitation harness neuroplasticity to promote recovery and functional improvement after brain injury or stroke. Neuroplasticity plays a crucial role in brain rehabilitation by allowing the brain to adapt and reorganize in response to injury, disease, or environmental changes. It enables the formation of new neural connections, the rewiring of existing circuits, and the recruitment of alternative brain regions to compensate for damaged or dysfunctional areas. Through targeted rehabilitation exercises, therapies and interventions, individuals can harness neuroplasticity to promote recovery, restore lost functions, and improve cognitive, motor, and sensory abilities following neurological conditions such as stroke, traumatic brain injury, or neurodegenerative diseases. Brain-computer interfaces are innovative technologies that establish direct communication pathways between the brain and external devices or computer systems. They enable individuals to control electronic devices, prosthetic limbs, or computer interfaces using neural signals such as brainwave patterns or neuronal activity. Brain-computer interfaces have diverse applications, including assistive technologies for individuals with disabilities, neuroprosthetics, neurorehabilitation, and cognitive enhancement. They hold potential for revolutionizing healthcare, rehabilitation, and human-computer interaction by bridging the gap between the brain and external devices. The brain exhibits remarkable adaptability in response to changes in sensory input or environmental conditions, a phenomenon known as sensory or environmental plasticity. It enables the brain to modify its structure and function to optimize sensory processing, perception, and behavioral responses based on changing environmental demands. Sensory plasticity occurs throughout life and is influenced by factors such as experience, learning, and sensory deprivation or enrichment. By adapting to environmental changes, the brain ensures optimal functioning and adaptation to novel situations and challenges. Exercise has profound effects on brain health and function, promoting neuroplasticity, neurogenesis, and cognitive enhancement. Regular physical activity improves blood flow to the brain, stimulates the release of neurotrophic factors that support neuronal growth and survival, and enhances synaptic connectivity and neurotransmitter function. Exercise also reduces inflammation, oxidative stress, and risk factors for neurodegenerative diseases, while improving mood, memory, and cognitive performance. Overall, exercise is a potent modulator of brain health and resilience, offering numerous benefits for cognitive aging, mental well-being, and neurological conditions. Neurofeedback is a form of biofeedback that utilizes real-time monitoring of brain activity to provide individuals with visual or auditory feedback about their brainwave patterns. By learning to modulate their brain activity, individuals can enhance self-regulation of cognitive, emotional, and behavioral functions. Neurofeedback has potential applications in improving attention, concentration, relaxation, and mood regulation, as well as managing conditions such as ADHD, anxiety, depression, and sleep disorders. It offers a non-invasive, drug-free approach to optimizing brain function and promoting mental well-being. Pharmacological interventions and medications exert diverse effects on brain function by targeting neurotransmitter systems, neuronal activity, and molecular pathways involved in neural signaling and synaptic transmission. Psychotropic medications such as antidepressants, anxiolytics and antipsychotics modulate neurotransmitter levels and receptor activity to alleviate symptoms of mental health disorders. Other medications, such as stimulants or cognitive enhancers, enhance cognitive function, attention, and alertness by influencing neurotransmitter release and neuronal excitability. The brain's response to medications varies depending on factors such as drug dosage, pharmacokinetics, and individual differences in neurochemistry and physiology. Neurotransmitter imbalances can contribute to the pathophysiology of mental health disorders by disrupting normal brain function and neurotransmitter signaling. Imbalances in neurotransmitter levels or receptor activity can affect mood regulation, cognitive function, and behavioral responses, leading to symptoms such as depression, anxiety, or psychosis. Common neurotransmitters implicated in mental health include serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, and gamma-aminobutyric acid. Pharmacological interventions targeting these neurotransmitter systems aim to restore balance and alleviate symptoms of mental illness. Neuroimaging enables researchers to visualize brain anatomy, map brain activity and functional networks, and investigate neural correlates of cognition, emotion, and behavior. It has diverse applications in neuroscience, clinical diagnostics, and therapeutic interventions, contributing to our understanding of the brain and neurological disorders. Psychotherapy and behavior interventions modulate brain function and promote mental health by targeting cognitive, emotional, and behavioral processes. Therapeutic approaches such as cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness-based interventions, and interpersonal therapy aim to modify maladaptive thoughts, emotions, and behaviours, promote coping skills, and improve self-awareness and insight. These interventions induce neuroplastic changes in brain structure and function, leading to symptom reduction, improved coping strategies, and enhanced emotional regulation and well-being. Meditation and mindfulness practices have profound effects on brain function, promoting relaxation, stress reduction, and mental clarity. They involve focused attention, non-judgmental awareness, and acceptance of present moment experiences. Meditation induces neuroplastic changes in brain regions associated with attention, emotion regulation, and self-awareness, such as the prefrontal cortex, insula, and anterior cingulate cortex. Regular practice of meditation is associated with benefits such as improved attention, emotional resilience, and subjective well-being, as well as reduced symptoms of anxiety, depression, and chronic pain. Brainwaves are rhythmic patterns of electrical activity generated by synchronized neural firing in the brain. They reflect different states of consciousness, arousal, and cognitive processing, ranging from deep sleep to wakefulness and focused attention. Brainwave frequencies such as delta, theta, alpha, beta, and gamma correspond to specific mental states and cognitive functions. Electroencephalography is a neuroimaging technique used to measure brainwave activity non-invasively, providing insights into brain function. The dopamine system in the brain plays a crucial role in reward processing and addiction. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that regulates feelings of pleasure, motivation, and reinforcement. When we engage in rewarding activities such as eating delicious food or receiving praise, dopamine neurons in the brain's reward pathway become activated, reinforcing the behavior and encouraging us to seek out similar rewards in the future. Decision-making biases are cognitive shortcuts or mental heuristics that influence our judgment and decision-making processes. These biases often arise from evolutionary adaptations or learned experiences and can lead to systematic errors in decision-making. For example, confirmation bias. where we tend to seek out information that confirms our existing beliefs, can lead to distorted perceptions and flawed decision-making. Other common biases include anchoring bias, availability bias, and overconfidence bias. These biases can influence our perceptions, beliefs, and behaviours, shaping our decision-making processes in predictable ways. Creativity involves the generation of novel ideas, solutions or products that are both original and valuable. The brain processes and regulates creativity through complex interactions between different brain regions and neural networks. Creative thinking often involves divergent thinking, the ability to generate multiple solutions or perspectives to a problem, as well as convergent thinking, the ability to evaluate and select the best solution. The prefrontal cortex, hippocampus, and default mode network are among the brain regions implicated in creative cognition. Dopamine and other neurotransmitters also play a role in modulating creative processes and motivation. Artistic expression and appreciation involve complex neural mechanisms that integrate sensory perception, emotion, and cognition. When we engage with art, whether through creating or experiencing it, various brain regions become activated, including those involved in visual processing, emotion regulation, and reward processing. The brain's reward pathway, including the ventral tegmental area and nucleus accumbens, plays a role in experiencing pleasure and aesthetic appreciation. Artistic expression relies on the coordination of motor areas, such as the frontal cortex and cerebellum, to translate creative ideas into tangible forms. The flow state, or being in the zone, refers to a state of optimal engagement and performance characterized by deep focus, heightened concentration, and a sense of effortless mastery. The concept was popularized by psychologist Mihaly, who described flow as a state of complete absorption in an activity where one's skills match the challenges at hand. Flow is associated with alterations in brain activity, including increased activation in areas involved in attention, executive function, and reward processing. Achieving flow requires a balance between skill level and task difficulty, enabling individuals to experience a state of heightened productivity and enjoyment. The brain's response to stress and adversity involves complex physiological and psychological processes aimed at adapting to and coping with challenging situations. The stress response involves the activation of the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis and the release of stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones prepare the body for fight or flight responses, mobilizing energy reserves and increasing alertness. Chronic or excess stress can dysregulate the stress response system, leading to negative effects on physical and mental health, including increased risk of anxiety, depression, and cardiovascular disease. Trauma can have profound effects on brain structure and function, particularly in regions involved in emotion regulation, memory, and stress responses. Chronic stress and traumatic experiences can lead to alterations in the brain's stress response system, including changes in the volume and connectivity of brain regions such as the amygdala, hippocampus, and prefrontal cortex. These changes can contribute to symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, such as intrusive memories, hyperarousal, and emotional dysregulation. However, the brain also exhibits remarkable resilience and plasticity, allowing for recovery and adaptation following traumatic experiences. Resilience refers to the ability to bounce back from adversity, overcome challenges, and maintain psychological well-being in the face of stress or adversity. Neurologically, resilience is associated with adaptive coping strategies, social support, and the ability to regulate emotions and cognitive processes effectively. Resilient individuals often demonstrate greater flexibility in their neural responses to stressors, including more efficient activation of brain regions involved in emotion regulation and cognitive control. Cultivating resilience through mindfulness, social connection, and positive coping strategies can enhance mental health and well-being. Consciousness refers to the state of awareness of oneself and the surrounding environment, accompanied by subjective experiences, thoughts, and perceptions. The neural basis of consciousness remains a topic of ongoing scientific inquiry, with various theories proposing different brain mechanisms underlying conscious experiences. Some theories suggest that consciousness arises from the integration of sensory information across distributed brain networks, while others emphasize the role of specific brain regions, such as the prefrontal cortex or thalamocortical loops, in generating conscious awareness. The study of consciousness involves investigating the neural correlates of conscious states and understanding how they emerge from brain activity. Place cells in grid cells are specialized neurons found in the hippocampus and entorhinal cortex, respectively, that play crucial roles in spatial memory and navigation. Place cells fire selectively when an animal occupies a specific location in its environment, effectively creating a cognitive map of the surrounding space. Grid cells, on the other hand, exhibit a hexagonal firing pattern, encoding spatial information in a grid-like manner and facilitating path integration and navigation. Together, place cells and grid cells enable animals to navigate their surroundings, remember locations, and navigate complex environments with accuracy. Cognitive maps are mental representations of spatial relationships and environmental layouts that enable organisms to navigate and interact with their surroundings. These maps are formed through a combination of sensory input, movement, and experience, with contributions from specialized neurons such as place cells and grid cells. Cognitive maps allow individuals to plan routes, remember landmarks, and navigate from one location to another efficiently. They are essential for spatial memory navigation and orientation in both humans and animals. Executive functions refer to a set of higher-order cognitive processes responsible for goal-directed behaviours, planning, decision-making, and self-regulation. These functions are primarily mediated by the prefrontal cortex, a region of the brain involved in executive control and cognitive flexibility. Executive functions enable individuals to set goals, allocate attention, inhibit irrelevant information, and adaptively respond to changing environmental demands. They are critical for academic and professional success, social interactions, and daily functioning. The prefrontal cortex plays a central role in executive function and cognitive control, coordinating various cognitive processes and behaviours to achieve desired goals. It is involved in planning, decision-making, working memory, impulse control, and emotional regulation. The prefrontal cortex receives input from sensory and association areas of the brain, integrates information from multiple sources, and orchestrates appropriate behavioural responses based on internal goals and external stimuli. Damage or dysfunction of the prefrontal cortex can impair executive function and lead to deficits in planning, decision-making, and self-regulation. Cognitive flexibility refers to the ability to adapt one's thoughts and behaviours in response to changing circumstances or task demands. It involves shifting cognitive sets, updating mental representations, and generating alternative solutions to problems. Cognitive flexibility is essential for problem solving, creativity, and adapting to novel situations. It relies on intact functioning of the prefrontal cortex and interconnected brain networks involved in cognitive control, attention, and working memory. Attention and working memory are cognitive processes that enable individuals to focus on relevant information while filtering out distractions and maintaining task-relevant information temporarily. Attention involves selectively allocating cognitive resources to sensory stimuli, cognitive tasks, or internal thoughts. Working memory, on the other hand, refers to the temporary storage and manipulation of information necessary for ongoing cognitive tasks. These processes are supported by interconnected brain networks involving the prefrontal cortex, parietal cortex, and subcortical structures such as the thalamus and basal ganglia. Attentional networks in the brain modulate selective attention and focus by enhancing the processing of relevant stimuli while suppressing irrelevant or distracting information. These networks include the dorsal attention network, involved in top-down control and spatial attention, and the ventral attention network, responsible for bottom-up attentional capture and reorienting to salient stimuli. Additionally, the default mode network plays a role in regulating attention during rest and internally focused tasks, such as mind-wandering or self-referential thinking. Attentional blink is a phenomenon where individuals briefly fail to perceive or process a second target stimulus when it appears shortly after a first target stimulus. It reflects a temporary lapse in attentional resources following the detection of the first target, leading to a momentary attentional bottleneck or refractory period. The attentional blink has implications for information processing, particularly in tasks requiring rapid serial visual presentation or in scenarios where individuals must detect multiple targets within a short time frame. Language comprehension and production involve complex neural processes that allow individuals to understand and generate spoken or written language. Broca's area, located in the left frontal cortex, is involved in language production and grammatical processing, while Wernicke's area, located in the left temporal cortex, is responsible for language comprehension and semantic processing, together with other language-related brain regions, such as the angular gyrus and superior temporal gyrus. Broca's and Wernicke's areas enable fluent language processing and communication. Aphasia refers to a language disorder characterized by difficulties in speaking, understanding, reading, or writing language, typically resulting from brain damage or injury, most commonly to Broca's or Wernicke's areas. Broca's aphasia or non-fluent aphasia involves impaired language production with relatively preserved comprehension. In contrast, Wernicke's aphasia or fluent aphasia involves impaired language comprehension and fluent but nonsensical speech production. Other types of aphasia include global aphasia, where individuals experience severe impairments in all aspects of language, and anomic aphasia, characterized by word-finding difficulties. Numerical and mathematical cognition involve the ability to understand, manipulate, and reason about numerical quantities and mathematical concepts. Specific brain regions, such as the intraparietal sulcus and inferior parietal lobule, are implicated in numerical processing and calculation. These regions support basic numerical operations, such as counting, arithmetic, and magnitude comparison. Additionally, mathematical cognition involves higher-order processes, such as problem-solving, mathematical reasoning, and symbolic manipulation, which rely on intact functioning of prefrontal and parietal regions. Dyscalculia is a specific learning disability characterized by difficulties in understanding and performing mathematical tasks despite normal intelligence and adequate educational opportunities. It is thought to result from atypical brain development or dysfunction in regions involved in numerical processing, such as the intraparietal sulcus and parietal cortex. Individuals with dyscalculia may struggle with basic arithmetic operations, numerical reasoning, and understanding mathematical concepts, impacting academic achievement and daily functioning. Music perception and appreciation involve complex neural processes that integrate auditory perception, emotion, memory, and reward processing. Multiple brain regions are involved in music processing, including the auditory cortex, frontal cortex, limbic system, and reward pathway. These regions support various aspects of music cognition, including pitch perception, rhythm processing, emotional responses to music, and the experience of pleasure or reward. Music engages widespread neural networks and can elicit powerful emotional and physiological responses, contributing to its universal appeal and cultural significance. Auditory processing areas in the brain play crucial roles in music cognition and emotion by decoding and interpreting auditory information, such as pitch, rhythm, melody, and timbre. These regions, including the auditory cortex and superior temporal gyrus, process acoustic signals and extract meaningful features from sound stimuli, allowing individuals to perceive and appreciate music. Additionally, the limbic system, which is involved in emotion processing, interacts with auditory areas to elicit emotional responses to music, such as pleasure, arousal, or nostalgia. This intricate interplay between auditory processing and emotional centers underlies the powerful impact of music on human emotions and behavior. Absolute pitch. Also known as perfect pitch is the ability to identify or produce musical tones without reference to an external standard. It is relatively rare and is thought to have both genetic and environmental components. Neuroimaging studies have suggested that absolute pitch may be associated with structural and functional differences in auditory processing areas of the brain, particularly in the left hemisphere. These differences may include increased grey matter volume in regions such as the auditory cortex and planum temporale, as well as enhanced neural connectivity within auditory networks. Absolute pitch is considered a form of auditory expertise and may be more prevalent among individuals with early musical training or exposure. Face perception and recognition involve specialized brain regions dedicated to processing facial features and identities. The fusiform face area, located in the fusiform gyrus of the temporal lobe, is particularly important for face processing, showing increased activation when individuals view faces compared to other objects or visual stimuli. The fusiform face area is thought to extract configural and featural information from faces, allowing for rapid and accurate recognition of familiar faces. Additionally, other brain regions such as the occipital face area and superior temporal sulcus contribute to different aspects of face perception, including facial expression analysis and gaze direction processing. Prosopagnosia is a neurological condition characterized by difficulties in recognizing familiar faces, despite intact visual perception and general cognitive abilities. It can result from damage or dysfunction in specialized face processing regions of the brain, particularly the fusiform face area and occipital face area. Prosopagnosia can be congenital, arising from developmental abnormalities or acquired, resulting from brain injury, stroke, or neurodegenerative diseases. Individuals with prosopagnosia may struggle to identify friends, family members, or even their own reflection, leading to social and emotional challenges in everyday life. Attention to social cues and interactions involves the allocation of cognitive resources to relevant social stimuli, such as faces, body language, or vocal expressions, while filtering out distractions. This process relies on interconnected brain networks involved in social cognition, including the superior temporal sulcus, medial prefrontal cortex, and mirror neuron system. These regions facilitate the interpretation of social cues, understanding of others' intentions and emotions, and engagement in social interactions. Attention to social cues is essential for social bonding, empathy, and adaptive social behavior in diverse social contexts. The temporoparietal junction is a brain region located at the intersection of the temporal and parietal lobes, involved in a wide range of cognitive functions, including theory of mind, perspective taking, attentional control, and social cognition. It plays a crucial role in processing social information and understanding others' mental states, intentions, and beliefs. In the realm of neuroscience, debunking the myth of the 10% brain usage misconception is essential. Contrary to popular belief, our brains are fully active organs, with different regions engaging depending on the task at hand. From processing sensory information to regulating bodily functions, the brain utilizes its entire capacity, showcasing its complexity and adaptability in diverse situations. Furthermore, the brain stands as a master of efficiency despite its hefty energy demands, consuming about 20% of the body's total energy. Through ingenious mechanisms like shutting down unused areas and recycling neurotransmitters, the brain maximizes its processing power while minimizing energy wastage. This remarkable efficiency underscores the evolutionary sophistication of the human brain. Delving into the intriguing realm of neurodiversity, Synesthesia offers a captivating glimpse into the brain's unique capabilities. This neurological condition allows some individuals to experience a blending of the senses, such as seeing sounds as colours or tasting shapes. While the underlying mechanisms remain elusive, synesthesia sheds light on the brain's multifaceted approach to processing information and perception. Moreover, the gut-brain connection reveals the intricate interplay between the brain and the digestive system. Emerging research highlights the profound influence of gut bacteria on mood, behavior, and cognitive function, emphasizing the bidirectional communication between the gut and brain. This symbiotic relationship underscores the holistic nature of human health and underscores the importance of nurturing a balanced microbiome for optimal well-being. The placebo effect showcases the profound influence of the mind on the body's physiological responses. By administering inactive substances while framing them as treatments, researchers have observed real improvements in patients' symptoms, highlighting the brain's power to shape our perception and modulate bodily functions. This phenomenon underscores the potential for harnessing the mind's innate healing abilities and underscores the importance of psychological factors in healthcare interventions. The temporoparietal junction is thought to integrate sensory input, internal representations, and contextual information to infer the mental states of others and guide social behaviour. Dysfunction or disruption of the tempora. Radial junction has been implicated in social cognition deficits and psychiatric disorders such as autism spectrum disorder. Autism spectrum disorder is a neurodevelopmental condition characterized by persistent deficits in social communication and interaction, restricted interests, and repetitive behaviors. It is thought to arise from atypical brain development and connectivity, affecting multiple neural systems involved in social cognition, communication, and sensory processing. Neuroimaging studies have identified structural and functional differences in the brains of individuals with autism spectrum disorder, including alterations in brain size, cortical thickness, and connectivity patterns. While the precise neurological mechanisms underlying autism spectrum disorder remain incompletely understood, research suggests a complex interplay of genetic, environmental, and neurobiological factors. Emotional intelligence refers to the ability to perceive, understand, regulate, and express emotions effectively, both in oneself and others. It involves a set of emotional competencies such as empathy, self-awareness, emotional regulation, and interpersonal skills that enable individuals to navigate social relationships, manage stress, and make adaptive decisions. Emotional intelligence is mediated by brain regions involved in emotion processing, including the amygdala, prefrontal cortex, and anterior cingulate cortex, which form interconnected networks supporting emotional awareness, appraisal, and control. Developing emotional intelligence is essential for building healthy relationships, coping with challenges, and achieving personal and professional success. The amygdala is a key brain structure involved in emotion processing and emotional regulation. It plays a central role in detecting and responding to emotionally salient stimuli, such as threats, rewards, or social cues, by orchestrating physiological and behavioral responses. The amygdala is particularly important for fear conditioning, emotional memory formation, and the generation of emotional responses. In concert with the prefrontal cortex and other brain regions, the amygdala modulates emotional arousal and regulates emotional behavior, helping individuals adapt to environmental demands and maintain emotional well-being. Alexithymia is a personality trait characterized by difficulties in identifying, describing, and expressing one's own emotions. Individuals with alexithymia may have limited insight into their emotional experiences and struggle to articulate or recognize emotions in themselves or others. Neuroimaging studies have linked alexithymia to alterations in brain structure and function, particularly in regions involved in emotion processing and interoception, such as the insular, anterior cingulate cortex and prefrontal cortex. Alexithymia may co-occur with various psychiatric disorders, such as depression, anxiety, and autism spectrum disorder, and is associated with impaired emotional awareness and social functioning. Moral reasoning and decision-making involve cognitive processes by which individuals evaluate ethical dilemmas, make judgments about right and wrong, and choose appropriate courses of action. These processes are shaped by cultural norms, personal values, social context, and neurological factors. Brain imaging studies have identified neural correlates of moral cognition, including the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, and anterior cingulate cortex, which are involved in moral judgment, decision-making, and moral emotion processing. Moral reasoning draws on various cognitive and emotional processes such as empathy, perspective taking, and conflict resolution to guide ethical behavior and moral choices in complex social situations. Brain regions like the ventromedial prefrontal cortex are crucial for moral cognition, helping individuals make decisions based on moral principles and values. This area is involved in processing emotions, assessing risks and rewards, and considering social norms when faced with moral dilemmas. Damage to this region can lead to impairments in moral judgment and decision-making, highlighting its importance in ethical reasoning. Moral dilemmas are complex situations where individuals must weigh conflicting moral principles or values when making decisions. Neurologically, moral dilemmas engage brain regions associated with cognitive conflict resolution, such as the ventromedial prefrontal cortex and anterior cingulate cortex. These regions help individuals navigate conflicting moral considerations and arrive at ethical decisions. Dreaming is undoubtedly one of the most captivating and enigmatic aspects of the human experience. While scientists continue to unravel its mysteries, several compelling theories have emerged to shed light on the potential functions of dreaming. The theory of memory consolidation suggests that dreaming plays a crucial role in solidifying memories. During rapid eye movement sleep, which is when most dreaming occurs, the brain replays and strengthens recently acquired information, akin to a computer consolidating data during standby mode. This process may help us retain important memories while discarding irrelevant ones, contributing to our overall cognitive function. Dreams are proposed to serve as a platform for emotional processing. According to this theory, dreams provide a safe space for exploring and working through difficult emotions such as anxiety, fear, or grief. By allowing the subconscious mind to navigate and confront these emotions in a symbolic realm, dreams may facilitate emotional healing and resilience in waking life. Some theorists suggest that dreams can foster creativity and problem-solving skills. By allowing the brain to explore alternative scenarios and associations in a non-linear fashion, dreams may spark innovative ideas or solutions to challenges encountered in daily life. This hypothesis underscores the potential of dreams as a source of inspiration and insight. Additionally, an intriguing theory posits that dreams function as a form of survival simulation. By simulating potentially threatening situations in a safe dream environment, the brain may help us prepare for real-life dangers and refine our decision-making abilities. This adaptive function of dreaming highlights its evolutionary significance in promoting survival and adaptation. It's important to recognize that these theories are not mutually exclusive, and dreaming likely serves a combination of these purposes, or perhaps even more functions that have yet to be fully understood. In addition to these theories, several interesting facts about dreaming further enhance our understanding of this phenomenon. Contrary to popular belief, everyone dreams, although some individuals may not remember their dreams upon waking. Dreams are predominantly visual experiences, although other senses like sound, touch, and smell can also be incorporated. Moreover, dreams are often fleeting, with only a small percentage being retained in memory upon awakening. Keeping a dream journal can aid in improving dream recall and understanding the patterns and themes within one's dreams. Furthermore, external factors such as medications, stress, and dietary habits can influence the content and intensity of dreams, highlighting the intricate interplay between internal and external factors in shaping the dreaming experience. Creativity and innovation involve the generation of novel ideas or solutions to problems. Specific brain networks, including the default mode network, play key roles in creative thinking by facilitating spontaneous idea generation, mental simulation, and associative thinking. Creative individuals often exhibit greater connectivity within these networks, allowing for enhanced information integration and flexible thinking. Divergent thinking is a cognitive process that involves generating multiple solutions or perspectives to a problem. It is a key component of creativity and is associated with increased activity in brain regions involved in associative thinking, such as the prefrontal cortex and temporal lobe. Divergent thinking allows individuals to explore alternative possibilities and consider unconventional ideas, fostering creative problem solving. Cognitive biases and heuristics are systematic errors in judgment or decision-making that arise from mental shortcuts or cognitive limitations. The brain processes and regulates these biases through various mechanisms, including the anterior cingulate cortex, which is involved in cognitive control and error monitoring. By recognizing and mitigating biases, individuals can make more rational and informed decisions. Confirmation bias is the tendency to seek, interpret, or remember information that confirms one's existing beliefs or hypotheses, while ignoring contradictory evidence. It can influence decision-making and lead to the reinforcement of preconceived notions. The brain processes and regulates confirmation bias through cognitive control mechanisms, such as the anterior cingulate cortex, which helps individuals remain open-minded and consider alternative viewpoints. Consciousness refers to the subjective experience of being aware of oneself and the surrounding environment. The brain processes and regulates consciousness through complex interactions between distributed brain networks, including the default mode network, which is involved in self-referential processing and introspection. Understanding the neural basis of consciousness remains a challenging endeavor, often referred to as the hard problem of consciousness, due to its philosophical and scientific complexity. Time perception and temporal processing involve the brain's ability to perceive and process the passage of time. Specific brain regions, such as the prefrontal cortex and parietal lobe, contribute to time perception by integrating sensory information and internal temporal cues. The brain regulates time perception through attentional mechanisms and temporal processing networks, allowing individuals to perceive and organize temporal sequences effectively. Specific brain regions like the cerebellum are vital for timing and coordination. While traditionally associated with motor control, the cerebellum also plays a crucial role in timing movements and coordinating actions, contributing to smooth and precise motor execution without conscious effort. Time dilation refers to the subjective perception of time slowing down or speeding up under certain circumstances, such as during intense or novel experiences. This phenomenon can distort our perception of time, making moments seem to pass faster or slower than they actually do. It's often experienced during high-stress situations or moments of heightened attention. Decision-making and risk assessment involve complex processes in the brain, with various regions contributing to these functions. The ventral striatum, for example, is involved in reward processing and risk-taking behaviours, influencing our evaluation of potential gains and losses when making decisions. Loss aversion is the tendency to prefer avoiding losses over acquiring equivalent gains, leading individuals to weigh potential losses more heavily than potential gains when making decisions. This cognitive bias can impact decision-making, as individuals may be more risk-averse when faced with potential losses. Motivation and goal pursuit are regulated by the brain's reward system, including dopaminergic pathways like the mesolimbic pathway. This system reinforces behaviors associated with rewards, driving individuals to pursue goals and engage in activities that are pleasurable or rewarding. Self-determination theory proposes that intrinsic motivation driven by internal factors like autonomy, competence, and relatedness leads to greater satisfaction and well-being compared to extrinsic motivation. By satisfying these psychological needs, individuals are more likely to experience genuine fulfillment and sustained motivation. Mental imagery involves the generation or recreation of sensory experiences in the mind's eye. Specific brain regions, such as the visual cortex, play a key role in mental imagery by simulating visual perceptions without external stimuli. Mental rehearsal or visualization leverages this ability to improve performance by mentally practicing tasks or scenarios. Attention to past and future events involves the brain's memory systems, particularly episodic memory, which allows us to recall specific events from our personal past and mentally simulate future scenarios. This mental time travel capability enables us to reflect on past experiences and plan for future goals. Nostalgia is a bittersweet emotional experience characterized by fond memories of the past. It involves a mixture of positive and negative emotions, often elicited by triggers like familiar smells, sounds, or experiences. Nostalgia can serve as a source of comfort and connection to one's personal history. Social identity and group membership are integral to how individuals perceive themselves and others. Specific brain regions involved in social cognition and self-referential processing contribute to the formation and maintenance of social identities, influencing our sense of belonging and interpersonal relationships. Specific brain regions like the medial prefrontal cortex are crucial for social identity processing. They help us understand our place in social groups, shaping how we perceive ourselves and others within our communities. These regions integrate information about our own identity, beliefs, and experiences with social cues from our environment, influencing our sense of belonging and social interactions. In-group favoritism refers to the tendency to favor members of one's own group over those outside of it. This bias can influence various aspects of social behavior, from decision-making and resource allocation to attitudes and interpersonal relationships. It arises from our natural inclination to identify with and support individuals who share our group affiliations, fostering cohesion and cooperation within social groups. Prejudice and discrimination involve negative attitudes and behaviours towards individuals or groups based on perceived differences such as race, ethnicity, gender, or other characteristics. These biases can arise from social, cultural, or environmental influences and are often rooted in stereotypes or misconceptions about certain groups. The brain processes and regulates these biases through complex neural mechanisms involving regions associated with social cognition and emotion. Cognitive processes like categorization help us make sense of the social world by organizing information into meaningful groups or categories. While categorization can be useful for simplifying complex information and making quick judgments, it can also lead to stereotypes and biases when applied to social groups. These cognitive shortcuts can influence social perception and behavior, impacting how we interact with others. Implicit bias refers to unconscious attitudes or stereotypes that affect our understanding, actions, and decisions without our awareness. These biases can operate beneath conscious awareness, shaping our perceptions and behaviors in subtle ways. They can influence various domains, including hiring decisions, healthcare outcomes, and criminal justice processes, highlighting the importance of addressing implicit biases in social contexts. Cultural identity and acculturation involve the process of adopting the cultural norms, values, and practices of a different cultural group. The brain processes and regulates these aspects of identity through interactions between cultural experiences and neural networks involved in social cognition, emotion, and self-concept. Brain networks like the default mode network are implicated in cultural cognition, which refers to the mental processes involved in perceiving, interpreting, and responding to cultural cues. These networks help us navigate social contexts by processing information about cultural norms, values, and expectations influencing our thoughts, feelings, and behaviours in culturally diverse environments. Cultural priming involves activating cultural concepts or stereotypes that influence behaviour in line with cultural norms or expectations. This can occur through exposure to cultural symbols, language, or contexts, which can influence social behaviour, decision-making, and attitudes. Cultural priming demonstrates how cultural cues can shape our perceptions and actions in social situations. Social influence and persuasion involve the ability to change someone's attitudes, beliefs, or behaviours through communication or social pressure. The brain processes and regulates these processes through regions associated with cognitive control, emotion regulation, and social cognition. Specific brain regions like the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex may play a role in resisting persuasion by evaluating and critiquing persuasive messages. Social conformity is the tendency to adjust one's behaviour, attitudes, or beliefs to align with those of a larger group. This phenomenon is influenced by various factors, including social norms, peer pressure, and the desire for social acceptance. The brain processes and regulates social conformity through neural mechanisms involved in social cognition, emotion, and decision-making, balancing the need for social acceptance with individual autonomy and authenticity. Trust and cooperation are essential for social relationships and group cohesion, facilitating collaboration, mutual support, and collective action. Brain chemicals like oxytocin and vasopressin play a role in promoting trust and cooperation by modulating social behaviour and bonding mechanisms. These neurochemicals influence social interactions and decision-making processes, fostering pro-social behaviours and interpersonal trust. The prison's dilemma is a classic game theory scenario that illustrates the tension between individual and collective interests in cooperative situations. It demonstrates how individuals may face conflicting incentives to cooperate or defect, leading to suboptimal outcomes when everyone acts in their self-interest. The brain processes and regulates decisions in these situations through regions involved in social cognition, decision-making, and reward processing, weighing the costs and benefits of cooperation. Conflict resolution and negotiation involve the process of resolving disagreements or disputes through communication, compromise, and problem solving. The brain processes and regulates these processes through regions associated with emotion regulation, perspective taking, and decision making, aiming to achieve mutually beneficial outcomes while preserving relationships and minimizing conflict. Brain regions like the anterior cingulate cortex are vital for monitoring conflicts in our thoughts, actions, and decisions. They help us detect discrepancies between our goals and actions, signaling when adjustments are needed to resolve conflicts and maintain cognitive harmony. Cognitive dissonance occurs when individuals hold contradictory beliefs, attitudes, or behaviours, leading to psychological discomfort. This discomfort motivates individuals to resolve the inconsistency by changing their beliefs or behaviours. Cognitive dissonance can influence decision-making by encouraging individuals to align their actions with their beliefs or to rationalise their choices. Leadership and social hierarchy are regulated by various brain processes that shape how individuals perceive and respond to authority figures and social rankings. Brain regions associated with social cognition and emotion, such as the prefrontal cortex and amygdala, play key roles in processing hierarchical information and modulating social behaviour accordingly. Specific brain regions like the amygdala are implicated in dominance behaviour, influencing how individuals assert power and establish social status within social groups. These regions integrate social cues and emotional responses, shaping dominance-related behaviours such as aggression, submission, and social signalling. Power poses are body postures believed to convey dominance, confidence, and authority, affecting how individuals perceive themselves and are perceived by others. Research suggests that adopting power poses can influence hormonal responses and self-perceptions, potentially impacting social behavior and interactions. Empathy and compassion involve the ability to understand and share the feelings of others and to respond with care and concern. Brain mechanisms like mirror neurons and empathy circuits facilitate empathetic responses by mirroring others' emotions and promoting prosocial behavior towards those in distress. Empathic distress refers to the emotional discomfort or distress experienced when witnessing the suffering of others. While empathy motivates individuals to alleviate others' suffering, empathic distress can sometimes lead to avoidance or withdrawal from helping situations due to the emotional toll it takes. Altruism and prosocial behavior involve acts of kindness, generosity, and concern for the well-being of others, often without expecting anything in return. Brain regions like the ventral striatum are implicated in processing rewards associated with altruistic acts, reinforcing prosocial behavior and promoting social cooperation. Reciprocal altruism is a form of altruistic behavior where individuals help others with the expectation of receiving help in return at a later time. This evolutionary strategy promotes cooperation and mutual benefit within social groups, contributing to social cohesion and group survival. Moral judgment and ethical decision-making involve evaluating the rightness or wrongness of actions based on moral principles and values. Brain networks like the medial prefrontal cortex are involved in moral reasoning, integrating emotional, cognitive, and social information to guide ethical behavior. Moral emotions such as guilt, shame, and empathy play crucial roles in shaping moral behavior by influencing individuals' responses to moral dilemmas and guiding their moral judgments and decisions. These emotions motivate individuals to act in ways that align with societal norms and moral values. Gratitude and forgiveness involve acknowledging and appreciating acts of kindness or goodwill and letting go of negative feelings or resentment towards others. Brain processes associated with empathy, compassion, and reward processing contribute to the experience of gratitude and forgiveness, promoting positive social relationships and emotional well-being. The ventromedial prefrontal cortex is involved in processing gratitude by integrating emotional responses and social cognition. This region helps individuals appreciate and evaluate positive social experiences, such as acts of kindness or expressions of gratitude from others. When we feel grateful, the VMPFC may play a role in reinforcing these positive emotions and strengthening social bonds, contributing to overall well-being. Empathy-based forgiveness involves understanding and empathizing with the perspective of the person who has wronged us, which can lead to letting go of negative feelings and resentment. This process can be beneficial for our well-being as it reduces the emotional burden of holding on to grudges and promotes healing. By empathizing with the other person's experiences and motivations, we may find it easier to forgive and move forward. Resilience refers to the ability to adapt and bounce back from adversity or challenging situations. Brain networks like the hippocampus are involved in resilience by supporting memory processes and regulating stress responses. The hippocampus plays a role in encoding and retrieving emotional memories, helping individuals learn from past experiences and develop effective coping strategies to navigate future stresses. Post-traumatic growth is a phenomenon where individuals experience personal growth and positive psychological changes following traumatic events or adversity. Neurologically, post-traumatic growth may be associated with changes in brain structure and function, including increased activity in regions involved in emotional regulation, cognitive flexibility, and social processing. These changes can contribute to a greater sense of resilience and well-being. Mindfulness and meditation involve practices aimed at cultivating present moment awareness and non-judgmental acceptance of one's thoughts, emotions, and sensations. Brain regions such as the insula, which is involved in interoceptive awareness and self-reflection, may play a role in supporting mindfulness practice by enhancing self-awareness and attention regulation during meditation. Mindfulness-based stress reduction is a structured program that combines mindfulness meditation with techniques to reduce stress and promote well-being. Research suggests that engaging in mindfulness-based stress can lead to changes in brain function and structure, including increased activity in regions associated with attention, emotional regulation, and self-awareness. These changes may contribute to improvements in mood, stress management, and overall mental health. Brain chips, also known as neural implants or brain-computer interfaces, represent a groundbreaking advancement in neuroscience with far-reaching implications for medical treatments, assistive technology, communication, and cognitive enhancement. In the realm of medical applications, brain chips hold promise for treating neurological disorders such as Parkinson's disease, epilepsy, and spinal cord injuries. By directly stimulating or modulating neural activity in affected brain regions, these implants can help restore motor function, alleviate symptoms, and improve quality of life for individuals with debilitating conditions. Moreover, brain chips have the potential to revolutionize assistive technology by enabling individuals with disabilities to control robotic prosthetic limbs, computer interfaces, and assistive devices using their thoughts alone. This technology offers newfound independence and mobility for people with severe motor impairments, empowering them to interact with the world in ways previously unimaginable. Additionally, brain chips may enhance cognitive function and memory, opening up possibilities for cognitive enhancement and augmentation of human intelligence. In the realm of communication, brain chips hold the potential to transform how we interact and communicate with one another. By enabling direct brain-to-brain communication, individuals may one day be able to transmit thoughts, emotions, and sensory experiences directly to one another, transcending traditional forms of verbal and written communication. However, the widespread adoption of brain chips also raises significant ethical and privacy concerns, including issues related to consent, autonomy, identity, and privacy, safeguarding individuals' rights and freedoms, while ensuring responsible and ethical use of neural interface technology is paramount. Furthermore, brain chips offer researchers unprecedented insights into the inner workings of the brain and nervous system. These implants enable precise control and manipulation of neural activity, allowing scientists to study brain function, neural circuits, and the mechanisms underlying cognition, behavior, and consciousness in ways previously thought impossible. However, ethical considerations surrounding the use of neural implants in research must be carefully addressed to ensure the responsible and ethical conduct of neuroscience research. Brain chips represent a transformative technology with immense potential to advance our understanding of the brain, improve medical treatments, enhance assistive technology, revolutionize communication, and unlock new frontiers in cognitive science. While the development and deployment of neural implants raise complex ethical, social, and legal challenges, they also offer unprecedented opportunities for scientific discovery, medical innovation, and human enhancement. Continued research, innovation, ethical deliberation are essential to realize the full potential of brain chip technology while addressing its potential risks and implications. Emotional regulation involves the ability to monitor, evaluate, and modulate one's emotional responses in different situations. Brain regions like the ventrolateral prefrontal cortex are involved in cognitive reappraisal, a strategy for regulating emotions by reinterpreting the meaning of emotional stimuli or situations. The ventrolateral prefrontal cortex helps individuals regulate their emotions by exerting cognitive control over emotional processing, allowing them to effectively manage their feelings and behavior. Emotion regulation strategies refer to the various techniques individuals use to manage and control their emotions in response to different situations. These strategies can have significant effects on mental health, as they influence how individuals experience and cope with emotions. For example, techniques like cognitive reappraisal, where individuals reinterpret the meaning of a situation to change their emotional response, can help reduce negative emotions and improve overall well-being. On the other hand, maladaptive strategies like suppression, where individuals suppress or ignore their emotions, may lead to increased stress and psychological distress over time. The brain processes and regulates attentional control and cognitive flexibility through specialized networks and regions responsible for executive functions. Attentional control involves the ability to focus attention on relevant stimuli while ignoring distractions, which is crucial for tasks requiring concentration and cognitive performance. Brain networks like the frontoparietal network, which includes regions in the frontal and parietal lobes, play a key role in attentional control by coordinating activity across different brain regions to guide attention and prioritize information processing. Attentional bias refers to the tendency for individuals to selectively attend to certain stimuli or information while ignoring others. This bias can influence how individuals perceive and interpret their environment and can have effects on decision-making, behavior, and emotional responses. For example, individuals with anxiety disorders may exhibit attentional bias towards threat-related stimuli, leading to heightened vigilance and increased anxiety levels. Decision-making under uncertainty involves making choices in situations where outcomes are unpredictable or ambiguous. Brain regions like the anterior insula, which is involved in interoceptive awareness and risk assessment, play a role in processing uncertainty and guiding decision-making processes. The anterior insula helps individuals evaluate risks and rewards associated with different options, and may contribute to the experience of uncertainty-related emotions like anxiety or excitement. Loss aversion is a cognitive bias where individuals place greater emphasis on avoiding losses than acquiring equivalent gains. This bias can influence decision-making under uncertainty by leading individuals to avoid risky choices that might result in losses, even if the potential gains outweigh the potential losses. Loss aversion can affect various domains of decision-making, from financial investments to social interactions, and can have implications for overall well-being and satisfaction. Creativity and problem-solving involve the generation of novel ideas or solutions to overcome challenges or achieve goals. Brain networks like the default mode network, which is active during rest and internally directed thought, play a role in creative thinking by facilitating associative and divergent thinking processes. Let's talk about the brain storage capacity. It's practically limitless, with an estimated 86 billion neurons, each forming connections with thousands of others. The brain can potentially create trillions of connections. This remarkable network allows for the storage of vast amounts of information and memories, shaping our identities and experiences. Now let's shift gears to the brain's processing speed. It's nothing short of awe-inspiring. Information travels through the brain at lightning speed, reaching speeds of up to 268 miles per hour. This rapid processing enables us to react swiftly to stimuli and process complex information in real time, fueling our ability to navigate the world with agility and precision. But what about learning and adaptation? Well, the brain is a master of both. Through a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity, the brain constantly forms new connections between neurons throughout our lives. This remarkable ability allows us to learn new skills, form enduring memories, and adapt to ever-changing environments, shaping our growth and development as individuals. Now let's delve into the enigmatic world of dreams. While the exact purpose of dreams remains a subject of debate among scientists, they offer a fascinating window into our subconscious minds. Dreams can be creative, bizarre, or even frightening, reflecting our deepest thoughts, emotions, and desires, and providing insight into the inner workings of the human psyche. Let's discuss the brain's role in mind control, not in the realm of science fiction, but in the realm of physiology. The brain exerts remarkable control over our bodies, allowing us to consciously move our limbs, regulate bodily functions like heart rate and breathing, and even influence our emotions and behaviors. It's testament to the brain's incredible power and versatility as the command center of the human body. The human brain is a marvel of nature. With its boundless storage capacity, lightning-fast processing speed, adaptive nature, and profound influence on our thoughts, feelings, and actions. As we continue to unlock the mysteries of the brain, we gain deeper insight into what makes us uniquely human and the incredible potential that lies within each of us. Divergent thinking refers to the ability to generate multiple solutions or ideas from a single starting point, which is essential for creative problem solving and innovation. By allowing for flexible and unconventional thinking, divergent thinking can lead to breakthroughs and new discoveries in various domains, from science and technology to art and literature. As we conclude today's exploration of brain science, we hope you've gained valuable insights into the incredible complexity and beauty of the human brain. Don't forget to subscribe to Loops and Loops for more captivating content on brain science, neuroscience, and the mysteries of the mind. Let's continue to loop in new knowledge, innovate with brain-inspired technologies, and shape a future where our understanding of the brain continues to deepen. Until next time, keep those loops tight, keep exploring, and keep unlocking the secrets of the mind. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey.